guys, Ralph here, and welcome to True Power Trumpet Fitness on this thrilling Tuesday here in Connecticut. An absolutely gorgeous day in Connecticut. Cooler than it's been earlier in the week. Didn't put my black tees away quite yet. Anyway, just absolutely beautiful. You saw the thumbnail. Arturo talks about high notes. Guys, I tell you what, when somebody like Sandoval talks about high notes, I listen. Anyway, I'm going to leave the entire interview down below so you can get your own thoughts on it. But yeah, let me honk a little bit and we will discuss my thoughts on it. Spit buzzing. Double C's and Haydn. Tough combination to beat. Anyway, Arturo and high notes. Now, I can sum up what I feel about Arturo very, very simply. Love the chops, hate the mouthpiece. Anyway, Arturo's a genius, an absolute musical genius. I have it on very good authority from people that know him quite well and are more attuned to the jazz field than I do. He's actually, a lot of people feel he's a better jazz piano player than he is a trumpet player. Now think about that for a minute. Think about that for a minute. I mean, that's amazing. Absolutely amazing. You know, a whole prodigy thing down in Cuba, right from the very beginning. He was actually being groomed for the symphony down in Cuba, if I get that right. And when you hear him play classical licks and all this sort of stuff, he knows what he's doing. Some of the interpretations are a little weird, but for the most part, he absolutely knows what he's doing. And quick story, when he first came to the United States, he hadn't defected yet. He was just up doing some dates, and he met with Jerry. This was back in, oh geez, I don't even beg to differ. Jerry's first line of trumpets had just come out. And that's what Arturo was in Jerry's studio across from Giarnelli's, trying out the trumpets. And once again, he was surrounded by Cuban Secret Service to make sure that he didn't defect and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, he came into work and he wasn't Arturo Sandoval at that point. The hardcores like Jerry and some of the other guys knew who he was and knew of his playing, but he wasn't the commercial success that he was now. And he came in and tried out Jerry's horns, loved the horns. Now these horns back then, Jerry's initial foray into the trumpet manufacturing, he wanted to put out a student model cheap instrument, $300-400, that would play great. And he did that. His initial trumpets were extraordinary. They were definitely, you pick them up and you can feel, you know, it's like a Bundy, but it played. It was wide open. The tone was, in the upper register just soared. Some of them weren't even laminated. So anyway, Arturo is in there playing these things, loved it. Loved it. Wanted Jerry to give him the horn. Now, Jerry, once again, was not really in the trumpet business, and he couldn't at that time, and never did, pay anybody or give anybody free horns. I paid for every mouthpiece and every horn I ever had. All his friends did. Every once in a while, try this out for me, do me a favor, and, a mouthpiece or something. Paid for them all. Okay? So he wasn't about to give out freebies, especially at that point in the fledgling business that he had. He wasn't going to do it anyway. On principle, he doesn't believe in it. But Arturo wanted him to give it to him. And he's playing down at this club, that club. He says, what are you talking about? You're making at least $5,000 a night. Well, as a headliner, you can't give me $300 for a horn? He says the Cuban government was taking everything. They were giving him room, shelter, and transportation, but they were taking all his money. He didn't have a cent. Anyway, thought for another day. Okay, but Jerry told at that time, and again, he called me up and said, got this guy just left, man. Sounded great. I was doing all this stuff. Now, what he was doing was he was doing a sub for Faddis on a recording session, and he was passing some time. Before that, he came in and he's dazzling Jerry with his virtuosity. And he said he's good up to an A. After that, around the F or the G, he changes embouchures. He literally admits it. He literally just says he has a high note embouchure and a low note embouchure. This was how many years ago? Maybe he's changed it now. I don't know. But here's the deal. When you look at the link down below, some trombone guy is doing a interview with him, and he says, talk to me about high notes. And Arturo says, I never practice high notes. Okay, now that's easy for him to say, who has had perfect chops since the day he was born. He always had high notes. Remember, right from the beginning, he was considered a wonderkind and going to be an orchestral player, thus the 3C mouthpiece. But, yeah, he never thought about it. I don't practice high notes, okay? Now, in this 12-minute video, he doesn't talk about physiology once. Thick bottom lip, relax the corners. Doesn't say one thing about it. Now, if you look at his chops, they're absolutely beautiful. See how thick they are? See how relaxed they are? It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Okay? Now, once you listen to the video down below, you're going to hear his articulations are awesome. They pop, the multiple tonguing, spot on. So his chops look great. His tongue has got to be some version of what we're doing. Jerry didn't talk to him. Jerry was not into the tongue-controlled embouchure at that point, so it didn't come up back when he was trying out the horns. But you listen to the pop. That's what we're doing. Now, the only thing I don't like, he does a lot of pedal tones and single pedal tones. A lot of it. Now, in order for him to get that sound down there, he sounds like a foghorn. Wong. I mean, it's the Bach mouthpiece. He's got to be relaxed. Has to be. Now, if you look at his chops when he's doing it, he's absolutely relaxed. There is no stretch whatsoever. None. None. Even when he goes above high C, which he doesn't do a lot of in this video. It's all fat, thick, and locked in like our boy Maurice. Okay? His chops look beautiful. They're wonderful. Okay? Now, he says he does not practice high notes. And I take him at his word. Take him at his word. Now, he goes through all these routines. Arbin, Clark, St. Jacome. Goes through all these different routines that he shows. This is what I do every day. I don't know if he said for say, but I'm thinking a couple hours to go through his routine. Now, I've said before, I am not a big fan of routines, but if you feel like you, as a pro, if you feel like you need a routine, or anybody, to set you up for what's going to happen, to knock yourself out. I have no problem with that at all. All I'm here to tell you is that routines and notes don't build chops. Okay? So, again, I've done enough of that on other videos, so I'm not going to beat a dead horse. Okay? But, back to Arturo. I don't practice high notes. And he goes through all this stuff that he's doing, and it's straight out of Arbit and Clark and the whole 9 yards. Okay? So think about it, guys. What did he just tell you he's doing? He's staying in his happy zone. He's staying in his happy zone. I don't doubt for 1 minute he puts in 2-3 hours of his routine every day. When he's done, he'll probably go up to a couple double C's. I'm good to go. And he's off to the job, whatever he's doing. Guys, the happy zone is it. I got more things down the road coming up about the happy zone that is very, very telling. But again, Arturo didn't say anything about physiology. Listen to it. He talks about just hearing the note, and it comes out. No, it doesn't just doesn't come out of nowhere because you hear it. How many guys out there have heard double C's and never played one in their life? I mean, that's ridiculous. Come on, Arturo. But for him, I don't doubt for a minute that's what's his thought process, because his chops are right and his tongue is right. Okay? But listen to the tone. I don't like the foghorn pedals at all. But he has to be so relaxed to do that. That's the great part. And again, I really and truly believe his best playing came on the mouthpieces, his custom-made mouthpieces, other than the Bach. But again, as I said right at the beginning, love his chops, hate his mouthpiece. All right? Eat and drink fruits and vegetables and live your life with true power. Love you all.